What's up, everybody? I'm John Middlekauff. You know what I need you to do. Subscribe to our YouTube channel. We got content for days reacting to every NFL game all the time, every single day. Subscribe, like the videos. Let's go.
I think the match between Klubnik and Nussmeier. I mean, if you're talking about in terms of like a Heisman race, like those two are like neck and neck in the Heisman odds. It feels like whoever outperforms that night is going to take that next leap. I think it's also fascinating. Just the Klubnik a year ago against Georgia looked horrible. And then like the season progresses on, and you and me were texting. We were talking on the show about this. That game against Texas. I mean, you're watching Klubnik. You're like, Cade Klubnik be an NFL quarterback in a year from now? And you got Garrett Riley in the third year. And then it's the weapons he has around him with Dabo, Swinney. Like, I just think overall, like the circumstances that they have around him, I would trust in terms of best returning quarterback would be Nussmeier, but his coach is psychotic. So I maybe give the lean to Klubnik. But I think Klubnik's just, I mean, a couple years ago, people thought he was going to be the next DJ Uiagalelei because they thought he was going to be that next, okay, like this guy is going to be another DJU, another failed, Clemson quarterback. Because after Trevor Lawrence, they had Hunter Johnson and it didn't work out there. But he's another guy to me that I'm interested in because he's starting to be projected. I think Field Yates came out with a mock draft, and they don't matter, but I think it's cool to see some of these draft prospects, draft guys see the potential in some of these quarterbacks.
That game, I mean, obviously Ohio State, Texas gets all the pub. That might be the best game, right? I mean, I don't judge Brian Kelly on his first year, but 2 years ago, with Jaden Daniels, they lose that opening, I think it was Monday night game against Florida State, or might have been Sunday night, and kind of get work. Remember, Keon Coleman destroyed them. Last year, all the hype about playing USC in Vegas. Lincoln Riley wants to back out of the game. Brian Kelly's like, no chance, which I respect. Then he loses that game. The first year he has not won a week one game. Now, granted, he's playing real opponents at Death Valley, night game. I think there's a little of that Texas A&M, I think that's what, if I'm an NFL scout or GM, and everyone's going to like Nussmeier. Good player, high character guy, impressive. People love him. That thing that like he went to at SEC Media Day when he opened up his thing and he had Lacey inside. It's like, this guy just gets it,
Good dude.
And which again, there's not even a thing to get there. That's his boy, powerful, like that's sad situation, awful. But it's like, he's just checks every fucking box. But like, you play a lot of road games in the NFL, and if your team gets good, they're hard road games at night. And it's like that A&M thing, he melted down. And this Clemson defense, I mean, they have how many guys projected? Like you said, mock drafts in August change a lot. But like clearly Clemson has multiple guys that are viewed as top 10 picks, top 15 picks on defense. Multiple defensive linemen. So it's like, buckle up, because that's what A&M was. Shamar Stewart, they had a bunch of dudes. And it's like, we'll see it. Because I remember I sat right back here and watched that game at night. I'm like, LSU was kicking the shit out of these guys. And then it flipped. And then they got destroyed.
Yeah, that's been the biggest thing for LSU. They couldn't stop Marcel Reed because they made that quarterback change because Weigman started that game. Marcel Reed comes in. And LSU, that's been their biggest thing. And that's like transitioning to, pressure on the SEC. Like, to me, I think LSU has the most pressure this season because, like you said, like Garrett Nussmeier, like, can he stop being cute late in games like he was last year? Like, the first half's great. Then they come in, LSU this season, they say, you know what, we're going to invest in the transfer portal. They spent $18 million this year on the roster. They spent $11 million the last 3 years on this roster. So Brian Kelly's finally going in. You had Josh Pate talking about how he's finally bringing the Louisiana people back in. Like, to me, it's LSU. I know they haven't made the college football playoff, but how this roster is built, they are 6 deep at wide receiver. The offensive line might be a question, but you talk about NFL guys. Harold Perkins Jr. is a dude. Whit Weeks is a linebacker. They've got some good safeties from the portal. Like, to me, it's like now or never for Brian Kelly and try to win over this LSU crowd to kind of keep the momentum for the next couple of years. And then even for Nussmeier himself, like you return back, you could have went to the NFL and been a first round pick. Like, I feel like the pressure is really high for LSU, and they start out horrible. I do give Brian Kelly credit for keeping the game in Clemson, keeping it on the schedule. Like you did not have to you could have made it a neutral site game. No one would have no one would have cared if it would have been a neutral site game. But it just feels like this year, Brian Kelly with the schedule, they could go 1-2 their first 3 weeks because they got that. They got Florida at home. So I just think LSU, they got the most pressure.
I totally agree because you could say Florida, but it's like I still think people would have no problem firing Billy Napier, right? He's not. They gave this guy $90 million. And listen, I think he's a little douchey. I mean, the comment he had in that Netflix thing is like, my mortgage depends on it. No, someone who lives paychecks to paycheck worries about their mortgage. You've made $150 million coaching football the last 15 years. You could pay cash for the house if you want to do yesterday. Like, shut up. The rivalries, the marching bands, the upsets, Saturdays just got way more fun. College football is back, baby. Think you know the game? Put your college football knowledge to the test with DraftKings Sportsbook and turn your picks into big payouts. Live betting during the game, rivalry week odds boosts, and so much more. DraftKings Sportsbook has you covered. Here's the thing. There is no bigger game than Saturday morning. Texas, Ohio State. I understand Arch has never started a big game. Played a couple last year, but never anything like this. Ohio State lost a ton of guys to the draft. I think this Texas team, if Arch lives up to the hype, poised to win an Natty, I'm taking Texas. I know it's at the shoe. I know it's a tough environment. I just think, as Earl Woods used to tell Tiger Woods, let the legend grow. That's what I would tell Arch Manning. Go win this game, cover that spread, money line, let the legend grow. And here's something special for first-timers, new customers. Bet just $5 and get $300 in bonus bets instantly. Download the DraftKings Sportsbook app. Use the code John. That's code John for new customers to get $300 in bonus bets instantly when you bet just $5. In partnership with DraftKings Sportsbook, the crown is yours. But from 17 on, he went 10-3, 12-1, 11-2, 10-2, 11-1. Like, this guy was viewed as like a guy that if Notre Dame had a little bit lower academic requirements, like they'd be winning natties, right? That was the thing. Then he gets to LSU, and 2 years ago, and this sometimes ages worse when it's like, well, we had the Heisman Trophy winner. We had the best offense. It's like, you probably could have won a national championship if your defense wasn't a joke, right? You had Malik Neighbors, Brian Thomas Jr., and Jaden Daniels. Like, historically, LSU has good defenses, right? It's like Ohio State or Alabama or Georgia. Like, when I think LSU, honestly, up until like Burrow, I always thought defense. And you'd think Brian Kelly, I know he's an offensive guy, but like his defense is at Notre Dame, tough, bunch of NFL guys. And I just think the expectations, and then last year Notre Dame is in the national championship, and this guy is 9-3 again. Or actually, last year he was 8-4 in the regular season. So yeah, they won the bowl game. I just think by far, right? You'd say DeBoer, but he's not going anywhere. He's getting multiple years. Florida, I think people are already kind of on the fence of that guy anyway. It was like, is DJ Lagway? Like, even their schedule is really hard. If they got to fire him, no one will hesitate. Like, this becomes a major, major problem if they're 9-3 again. And I would say, listen, I respect you playing these big time games, but eventually you got to win one of them, right? You got, like, Dabo's won a lot of these over the course of his career, right? Saban and Kirby and Ryan Day, like, they've won a lot of games. It's a knock on James Franklin, but like, James Franklin has been winning at a really high level at Penn State, and last year he gets to the Final Four, right? And honestly, if his quarterback doesn't make just a boneheaded throw, probably wins that game or has a decent chance to win that game. Like, they played a winning football game. I'm not putting Drew Aller's pass on James Franklin. Like, Brian Kelly's just kind of been a letdown, I feel like, at LSU.
You even watch that SEC Netflix show and you hear him yelling at his team. It's just like it's a weird vibe between a really old school guy, like I'm doing it my way, I'm not doing it anyone else's way, kind of mentality in this new college football era where we're all adapting to different things in the sport. I think it's
I'll give you an example. When, like, Florida State, who maybe the Norvell and that program just falls apart. No one expects them to beat Alabama. They're like a 2-touchdown underdog. So if they do lose by 20 points, like, whatever, like, they could still have a solid season, or maybe they suck. But the expectations on that, when you look at LSU Clemson, like, he's a 3.5 point underdog. So it's that And listen, like that's definitely when you got NFL players and you got an NFL quarterback, like it's a winnable game. And yeah, would it be an impressive win? For sure. But they're paying you 90 million to, I don't know, win a game like this. So it's like if he can't win this game and it does snowball, I know it gets a lot more complicated with buyouts and stuff. I would say that the LSU would if he started 1-2 and they lost to Florida, you just look at their schedule, there's no way they could make the playoffs because that would mean that something's really wrong. He would be like people would just be out on him there.
Yeah, because they got A&M at Bama and at Oklahoma the back end of the season. So you got two really hard road games and then A&M too. I also think it was a bad look last year when he slammed the table against USC and he's calling out his players and saying we weren't prepared enough and I can't get these guys right. And that South Carolina game, they should have lost that game when Oris Sellers gets hurt, but that was one of those collapses too from last year.